right, there we go. Well, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. This is Tech for Senior. I'm Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. It is January the 22nd. At least in Comox, it's a rainy, slushy, miserable day. So I'm happy to be here, and there's no place else in the world I'd rather be than this morning at Tech for Senior with everyone and all our friends having a great show today. You're probably all wondering who we are, and I'm going to introduce our staff in just a minute. But you're on this show, which of course is a Zoom show. We broadcast that over to YouTube. But we also have a Thursday show, and this Thursday show, of course, is where we look at all the news of the week. And gosh darn it, we have a lot of fun on that show. So it's very, very popular, and it's of course on Thursday, but it's not a Zoom meeting. So it's run through StreamYard, and it's broadcast out to YouTube and to our Facebook page. So if you want to come, and we'd certainly appreciate you coming on our Thursday show, let's come on over, and we're going to have some fun with that on this Thursday. And if you want to go to our website, www.techforsenior.com, just go there, click the link that says take you to the show, and it'll either take you to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. So hopefully we'll see you there. So this month, of course, has been this month. Sorry, this month has been our fundraising month, and I wanted to thank everybody who's donated. I do have a little video to play, and I thought I'm just going to share my screen. I'm going to play our little video about this. And you should subscribe to our newsletter, sponsored by the Glendora Computer Club of California, meeting twice monthly through a Zoom meeting. Also by Geeks on Tour, who have a wealth of information on their website, which also has a bi-monthly show called The Button Show. Also with the Central Florida Computer Society, which has been disseminating computer information since 1982 in the Central Florida area. We want to thank all our sponsors for stepping up to the table and supporting this newsletter. This, of course, is our fundraising month, and Huey and I would just like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We asked and you delivered. Last week we needed some sponsors for our newsletter, and 3 organizations stepped up right away and volunteered for sponsorship. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. You'll be so happy because I'm going to be mentioning your name a lot through the year. We want to thank everyone who has also given over the past 3 weeks. We are well on our way to having our budget met. This week, I'd like to give a special shout out to those people who have donated. And here they are: the Central Florida Computer Society, Geeks on Tour, Irving Gershowitz, Liz Milford, Charles Harchin, Carol Rieger, Bob Baxter, Mike Lehman, Herman Lippold, Kathleen Steed, and Debbie Shannon. Thank you so much for your generous donations. I do apologize if I've missed anyone. It's been a busy month. We've had a lot of donations come in. Needless to say, we've had a very successful campaign this month, and we've committed to season 5. If you haven't already supported us, I will put the link in the notes for you. It's also on our website and in all our productions. So thank you, thank you, thank you. From the bottom of our heart, Huey and I and everybody at Tech for Senior will promise you a great season and value for what you've contributed to. So thank you so much, and let's get on with the show. All right, so things are going well. Thank you so much. We still have a little ways to go, and I put I put the list I put the link in the chat for if you still haven't made a donation, would like to do so before the end of the month. We probably should get the show moving ahead, but before I do that, I just wanted to let everyone know about our premiere video today, which actually is published now. I must have hit the wrong time. Anyway, it's out, it's published now, but so it's there for you to see. But the interesting thing about it was, and this is sort of funny, is that I'd forgot a year ago that we did a show on password managers. And when I went back and I looked at this, and the whole show was on password managers, and it was really good. And I said to Huey on Saturday when we met and planned the show, I said, Huey, did you remember doing a show on password managers? He said, no, and I didn't either. So we had a good laugh about that. And I went back and thought, it's a darn good show. So that is our premiere version today. If you want to learn more about password managers, all the people, including all our staff, everyone at Tech for Senior Project, all participated in it. So it was a pretty darn good show. So have a look at that. It's on the premiere video, and I put the links in. And if you subscribe to our newspaper, you would also have the link for that as well. All right, let's quickly go through. Huey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks everybody for subscribing and also for your donations. It really helps us a lot. It's becoming expensive to hold these shows on a regular basis, and we appreciate your support. Also, coming up, I've got the AI, Let's Talk AI normally on a Friday, but this week it will be on Thursday, directly after the Tech for Seniors show. It will be at 1 o'clock Eastern time for 1 hour. If you want to sign up for it, send me an email at huey@huey.net. And if you're already on the list, you don't need to do it again. And you should know, you should have received a link to a video that I sent about AI, which I thought was very good. And then Friday, I'm going to a cybersecurity summit meeting in Tampa, and I'm looking forward to that. I went last year, and the FBI was there and talked about a lot of cybersecurity stuff, plus a lot of other good speakers during the day. So looking forward to that. Busy week this week.
All right. And don't forget Tech for Senior live on Thursday, remember?
Yep. And then directly after that is my AI meeting.
And Bob, you're okay?
I'm fine.
Doing well?
Yep.
All right, great. Bill, you got icy streets, so you're going to stay home.
Icy streets, but otherwise
you're going to
doing
stay
fine.
home safe in your warm house.
I am. Thank you.
Ray, how are you doing?
We're doing okay here. I like the conversation we had earlier about cell phones. I'm going to just mention, and I'm not going to give you any more details, that I'm getting another phone.
Okay, go. Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be good. Maybe we'll more to come on that. That's great.
Yep.
You got our interest up there, Ray.
That was
and of course, Chris and Jim have got their Hawaii outfit on, and Chris will be doing her photo fun today. So thanks so much. And for all of those, Chris, just turn your head a little bit to the right. You'll see the flower on the left side of her head. Those of you who watched their show yesterday will understand what the significance of the flower on the left side of the head is versus the flower on the right side. If you didn't watch the show, you won't know the answer to that, right? All right, let's get moving because we had a big show today and we want to get going. So Bob, take it away.
Here's my security news roundup for the week ending January 19th, 2024. Balada injector infects over 7,100 WordPress sites using plugin vulnerability. The GoDaddy-owned website security company, which detected the latest Balada injector activity on December 13, 2023, said it identified the injections on over 7,100 sites. These attacks take advantage of a high-severity flaw in pop-up builder CVE 2023-6000 CVSS score of 8.8, a plugin with more than 200,000 active installs that was publicly disclosed by the WP Scan a day before. The issue was addressed in version 4.2.3. To stay safe, update as soon as possible. Read more at thehackernews.com. Google changes Chrome's incognito warning text following lawsuit. Google Chrome's incognito mode text has been updated to clarify that browsing in this mode does not prevent data collection by websites, including Google. The update follows a lawsuit settlement that I reported on last week, where Google was accused of tracking users in incognito. The new text emphasizes that others using the same device won't see the user's activity, but it doesn't affect data collection by websites. Your activity might still be visible to websites you visit, your employer or school, and your internet service provider. Read more at mobilesyrup.com. FTC will hold a hearing today, January 16th, 2024, to make canceling cable TV and other services easy. Canceling a service, whether it's a cable TV subscription, streaming service, or a gym membership, is typically a lot more complicated than when you initially signed up. The proposal, if approved, could make it far easier for customers to leave a service they're not satisfied with or no longer using. The provision could require companies to offer an online way to cancel a service if they signed the customer up online in the first place, and the process needs to be the same number of steps. The hearing is now underway by Security and Exchange Commission Administrative Law Judge. Read more at cordcuttersnews.com. Facebook users targeted with "I'll miss him so much" scam. A novel Facebook scam is attempting phishing attacks on social media users by tricking them into clicking a link that supposedly displays somebody's loss. A recent report from Malwarebytes says. The post says, "I can't believe he's gone. I'll miss him so much," and displays a Facebook permalink, which leads to another post displaying a fake BBC News title. Fatal road accident on the highway takes several lives. As Reddit user Grenly pointed out, attackers stole the relative's Facebook account and started tagging the account's owner's friends in a post discussing the supposed loss. Read more at cybernews.com. Breach Forum's former admin gets 20 years supervised release. Connor Brian Fitzpatrick, the former administrator of hacker marketplace Breach Forums, busted by the feds last March, will spend the next 20 years under supervised release. The now 21-year-old New York State resident, also known by his online screen name, Pom Pom Purin, had been running the now defunct Breached site for nearly a year before its second-in-command shut it down. In the wake of the arrest over fears the FBI had access to the site. He will not be going to prison. That is a profound, kind sentence from the Honorable Judge Brinkma, VX Underground wrote. Read more at cybernews.com. Google fixes an actively exploited Chrome 0-day. Google is aware of reports that an exploit for CVE 2024-0519 exists in the wild, the company said. The high-severity bug affects an out-of-bound memory access in V8 JavaScript engine that Chrome employs. The vulnerability allows reading or writing data beyond the allocated memory space, which could result in corruption that could potentially crash the browser. Attackers could abuse the flaw to get secret values like memory addresses, which could theoretically lead malicious actors to achieve code execution. Update to be protected. Read more at cybernews.com. Academy mortgage breach exposes 285,000 people. The U.S. mortgage lender, based in Utah, reached out to thousands of affected individuals about a March 2023 cyber attack. According to the company, attackers may have accessed individuals' first and last names, as well as their social security number. Losing Social Security number poses significant risk, as impersonators can use the stolen data for identity theft. According to information that Academy Mortgage provided to the Maine Attorney's Office, 284,443 of the company's current and former employees, together with customers, their spouses, and/or dependents, may have been impacted by the breach. Read more at cybernews.com. OpenAI to introduce anti-disinformation tools for 2024 elections. Elections are taking place this year in countries that are home to half the world's population and represent 60% of global GDP. People in the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union, and India will all vote this year. And just recently, the World Economic Forum Global Risks Report 2024 warned that generative artificial intelligence tools could help disrupt politics via the spread of false information. OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, says it will launch tools to fight disinformation ahead of a series of elections this year. It will also ban the use of its tech for political campaigns. Read more at cybernews.com. This week's must-see on my YouTube channel. While phishing emails are designed to confuse you if you know what they look like, they aren't hard to spot. Please watch my video on that topic by following the link listed. Did you know there are more than 5.1 billion active users on the internet, with Asia comprising more than 50% of the total internet traffic? When you open a can of soda, the decrease in pressure inside the can causes a corresponding but very small decrease in the temperature of the soda. Just thought you might want to know. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected, thanks to Steve Jobs. And that's a wrap for this week's Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching and listening. Good morning. Having some fun with my Pixel phone. That's a Pixel 6, and I want to play with the camera, but I want to use voice control. So let's have a little fun. I don't need to do anything as far as touching buttons, because all I can do is use my voice and say, "Hey, Google, take a photo." There's a countdown, and it's going to take a photo. I'll admit, it's not a very good picture, but this is the photo it took. I can use that same thing to take a selfie. Hey, Google, take a selfie. There's a countdown timer, and at the count of 3, it took a selfie. And here's the selfie it took with a simple voice command. The next time you want to take either a picture or a selfie, you don't have to hit any buttons, just use your voice. And the magic starts with, "Hey, Google," and then just give it the command. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope that helped.
Thanks, Bob. That's
Yeah.
really
Picture of inside my pocket when it did the video.
I know I got my phone went off. It's sitting on my desk here.
Sorry
It went
about
off.
that.
I think everybody got a selfie. That's cool. I didn't know that. I'm sure Chris told me that, but I don't remember that. That's a good one. I gotta try that. That's really good. Excellent. Good one, Bob. Thanks so much. And then lots of interesting stuff on AI we're gonna have to watch this year. That's very interesting about all the elections, and it's gonna be a very interesting year, to say the least. All right. Speaking of interesting times, I've got so many people asking me about my snowblower. They wanted to know how it worked out, and I got tired of writing all these emails, so I just made a video about it. So here's how it all worked out.
I don't see anything.
I do, Greg.
It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. Welcome to my home. I'm in my garage and it snowed last night. So I'm hoping that I can show you my new snowblower. Yes, my new Ryobi snowblower. But unfortunately today it's warmed up and I had a couple of shows to do this morning. And so it's the afternoon and the snow is starting to melt.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure we're going to be able to. We'll see how the snowblower works. There's still some snow out there, but we're going to give it a try. But I thought it's a day that I'm not very interested in doing, sitting in my studio working over a computer. I thought let's just do a little video in the garage, and I can talk to everyone and show you my garage. Wouldn't you like to see my garage? Anyway, behind me, of course, is my truck, and this is my 2007 truck I got when I retired, and this is the one that we had our fifth wheel mounted in the back to, and we pulled it down to Mesa, Arizona. It's a big diesel GM truck, but we only drive it about a couple of times a month when I take stuff out to the storage unit, and I'm gonna die. This is my baby. I shine it every night. I really like my GMC 2007 diesel truck. Let me take you for a little tour around the garage, and we can talk a little bit about what my feelings are and some of the things I've got. All right, so let's do that, and then I'll get into the snowblower and what my plans are for the snowblower. Okay, so this is my workbench, and you'll see up here is my workbench, and this is sort of where I do a little bit of the work around the house. And you'll see one of the most common pieces of equipment I use is my weed eater. And as we move in, you'll see, of course, this is the typical blue or yellow color, which is Ryobi. And when I retired in 2007, I decided to get all electric equipment and bought all Ryobi equipment. And now I have, of course, a lawnmower, a snowblower. All my equipment all runs off 40-volt batteries. Now, if you come over here, if you pan around, you see my wall over here, and I have a charging station here. You'll see all my batteries I have. These batteries are very expensive, and these are the two new batteries that I bought when I got my snowblower. I've never seen them this big before. This is the typical 40-volt battery that I have, and these are expensive. These are, I started out there about $100, but these little ones now are the 40 volts. 4 amp batteries are around $300 Canadian, so they're expensive. So you can see I have a lot of them on my charging station here, and I keep them charged up. But when I bought my lawnmower, it's been a while. Let's just come down here, and I'll show you my two machines here. This, of course, is the lawnmower I have. This is about 7 or 8 years old. The batteries are getting a little bit older now, and that's why I wanted to get some new batteries, and the batteries are expensive. So I thought, well, I'm going to get a snowblower anyway, and they have the super high capacity batteries because this runs on electricity. So I decided to do that, and when you come over here, you can certainly see the old size batteries. These are the smaller ones, and these are the big ones. Let me see if I can do this with one hand. These are pretty heavy, but these are we'll just put this up here. These are the big ones. They're 7.5 milliamp, and I thought this would be great because I can put these in my lawnmower when I'm not using them in the winter, and that's usually what I'm going to be doing most with. So that was the main reason I bought this snowblower. Now, if you look at the snowblower, you'll see over here is this is the 40 volt section where the batteries go, and I'm going to be putting those in a minute, and I'll show you. And then if we take one of the smaller batteries, this is where they go in my lawnmower. Just let me, I can't do this, it's a two-handed job, but just hold on a sec. Now if you look here, you'll see how the 40 volt battery nicely fits in the battery for my lawnmower. Well, the problem came up now is when I went to put the 7.5 milliamp battery in my lawnmower. Watch what happens. Well, it doesn't fit. So this isn't going to work. It won't. These new batteries I've bought, this snowblower, the snowblower was about I think it was around $900 Canadian, and I bought it at Home Depot, and it was $200 off. But I thought $700, well, it's got $500 worth of battery, so that's fine. That would be great because I can use those in my lawnmower. But my lawnmower is so old that, in fact, they didn't make batteries that big when I first got my lawnmower, so it doesn't fit in the battery compartment. So that's a problem, and I might have to move on and get a new lawnmower in the summer. We'll see. Maybe I'll get a self-propelled one. Anyway, I'm going to put the batteries in this snowblower, and we're going to take it out, and I'm going to set the camera up and see how this runs. I have no idea how this little machine's going to run with the wet, slushy snow. We'll see. Maybe it won't work out very well, but we'll see. So there you go. There you have it. That's how we shovel snow in Comox. By the way, the next day it rained and all the snow's gone. So there you go. So that's it. I get to use it once this year. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior. You know, often you've wondered, should I be backing up my Google Photos off the Google Photos cloud in Google? How would you do that? Well, Drew King has an answer for you, and today we're going to talk about using the GUI for Rclone to back up your Google Photos onto a other cloud drive. I want to take this opportunity to thank Drew for doing this. If anyone in the audience would like to participate, if you have an idea and you think you could maybe do a little demonstration, we would be more than happy to help you get that on the show. We really encourage audience participation, and I want to thank Drew King so much for taking up the challenge and giving us this presentation today. Now, Rclone is a single command line program, and on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, the entire program is just a single file. On Windows, the download is a zip file that contains the executable ℝ𝕠𝕟.exe. Now, ℝ𝕠𝕟 is not exclusively for backing up Google Photos. It can connect to and synchronize files over 50 cloud providers. It also supports encryption for those who want to store their personal data in an encrypted format in the cloud. When you install the Windows app, in settings there is an option to tell it what directory you unzipped the file into so you can find it and use it. Below is the website that you can find to download the file for installation. Now, once the Rclone Explorer for Windows app is installed and set up, there is in the lower left-hand corner a button labeled Config. And that is the button that you use to create your connection to Google Photos. It walks you through the steps, and during that setup, it will give you authenticate and grant permission for the software to access your photos. In Windows, you can map a regular drive letter to your OneDrive. For example, by default, Windows only allows you to use one personal OneDrive account, and this software lets you use as many as you want to. Now let's have a look at the video.
Hello, this is a very quick introduction to a program that is not new, however it is new to me. And it is called the GUI for Rclone. Rclone is an application that we have been talking about for a while that I use, among other things, to back up my Google Photos. This is an application that has a nice graphical user interface, and it makes Rclone a lot easier to use. And I'm going to give you a very quick tour of how to back up Google Photos and see if this might be something that I can interest the group in. These are on the left column here, all of my remotes, and I have one called DK Photo. And if I double click on DK Photo, it opens up to a new tab, and you'll see that I have the two that are important to me are Album and Media. Album is going to expand into a list of all of my albums. If I want to do a backup of my album called Abby, who's my dog, all I have to do is select Abby and then click on the download button. And the source is already filled in and the destination is filled in because I've done this before. But I've chosen in my home folder to create a folder called gpics and Abby. And if I had an external hard drive, I could put them there. If I click on Run, it will download to my computer all of the pictures in that particular album. If, however, I want to back up media, you can see that there are now 4 options: all, by day, by month, or by year. These are all available from the command line as well. However, using the graphical interface like this is much easier. If I were to click here and then click download, it would make, if I ran this job, it would make a download of all of my pictures of all time. Not going to do that right now. If I have a particular day that I'm interested in, I can expand this and it will show me all of the years. And I can say 2021, and it shows all of the days of the year. And I can click on any one of these days and it will back up the photos from that particular day. If I want to click on by month and expand that, it's going to show me again, it's going to show me all of my years. And then if I expand on, say, 2017, it's going to show me all of the months. And let's say I want to back up September of 2017. Once again, all I have to do is click on the download button and tell it to run. And it will make a copy of all of my photos from September of 2017. This can be really handy for photographers that want to back up their photos for a specific, or on a specific day. They might have done a specific type of photograph and they want all of those together. The other option which is by year, and again it shows all of the years. And if I were to click on the to expand it, it's actually going to try and pull up a list of all of the photos from 2013. You can see I didn't do much in 2013. I'm not a big photographer, but that's what I did in 2013. Anyway, this is tended to be a short overview of the GUI for Rclone. The downside is whoever developed this is no longer working on it. So it is a few years old. However, it works. And I can do all kinds of nice things. If I go to my remotes, I can say config, and it brings up essentially what is the DOS command prompt, where you can go in and configure remotes. And we'll skip over this. And that's all I want to talk about for this video, so I want to keep it short. And anyway, this is the GUI for Rclone.
Okay, now there's probably going to be questions about Rclone, but we're going to leave those questions for the Q&A. Let's get going with Chris. Go ahead, Chris. Unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Hello.
How's that? Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're great. You're
Okay,
great.
sorry about that.
Technology.
We got to get ourselves one of those snow blowers, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have a lot of use for it, wouldn't you?
Does it blow sand? Because
Yeah, right.
sometimes you need a sand blower. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Chris with Geeks on Tour.
And I'm Jim. And messing with technology is what I do.
If it never breaks, you're not trying hard enough.
This is true.
So this is Fun with Photos. And we had a lot of fun with photos last week because we were in Hawaii and there was a group of us, 14 people. So today I'm going to talk about what are group photo albums and how do they work. So in this image here, you see that there are a bunch of photos and each one has a name in the lower left-hand corner. That's the person who contributed that photo to the album. You can look at a group album. Now, I'm using Google Photos here. This can be done with some other systems. I think Google Photos does it the best. And that's what I use. In Google Photos, you have your choice of looking at either the album view, which shows all the photos in date order, or the activity view, which shows you what the latest thing that happened on the album was, be it a new photo from somebody, or be it a comment or a like by somebody. So it gives you a whole conversation area as well as just a set of photos. And you can view it one way or the other. I will show you that. Now, one question is, who do the photos belong to? Well, the album, assuming that I make the album and I made this Hawaii album, the album belongs to me. I am the owner. I can do things, I can delete photos, I can remove people from the album. But if you contributed a photo, say Bonnie contributed a photo, she owns that photo. Now I can save that photo to my library, in which case I now own that copy. So if you contribute a photo to a group album, know that you are giving people permission to own a copy of your photo. But it still maintains the information about who shared it. I can only edit photos that I own. So let me show you a little bit of this. I am going to go to my Google Photos, and here is our Hawaii Cruise with Geeks. Now, I started this album before the cruise even started, and I asked people to put in some photos of themselves and introduce themselves. So you can see that this one is contributed by Linda Barchman, and this one is Bonnie, Joellen, Chris, Aaron. It is just such a rich experience. Now we are on the trip. This is a tour around Oahu. This photo was contributed by Linda Belcher. And look at that green mountain. Just loved it. Now, if I want to see any of the comments, notice that this picture has a comment on it. I click on the picture, and now I see the activity that goes along with that picture. Nice job with the long exposure. You can bet there was some experimenting with photos and some teaching about photos going on this trip. I can back out then to the whole album, or I can see all the activity by clicking on this little chat icon. Now on a computer, you see the activity over on the right-hand side and the album on the left. On a phone, you have to choose. You see either the activity or the album. All right, and every time there is activity, if you have joined the album, you get a notification. So you see what is going on in real time. And people would contribute photos each day, every morning, every afternoon. So people went different places. So here, for example, is a turtle. I didn't see any turtles. This photo was contributed by Aaron. Now, I told you that I can edit my own photo. Chris Guld, this one is mine, and there is the edit button. I can do things to this photo. I don't need to, so I'm going to click X, but editing is available. Now, on this picture of the turtle, this one belongs to Aaron. I cannot edit Aaron's photo. However, I can save it. If I save it, there is now a copy of this turtle photo in my photo library. I still can't edit this photo, but if I went to my library and found this turtle picture, I could edit it there. All right, next slide. So then how do you create a group album? Well, if you've ever created an album in Google Photos, it's the same thing. You just create an album and then you share that album. When somebody else joins, it is now a group album. So let me show you how that goes. I'm going to go back to Google Photos and I will select, we took a selfie during the show here. And let's say I want to make an album to share with you all, with the Tech for Seniors group. I open that one photo, I click the three dots and add to album, and I make a new album. And I call it Tech for Senior Samples. And I'm done. I now have an album. How do I share it with you? I click the share button, and I could invite people individually, but it's so much easier to just create a link to the album. I copy the link, and now I'm going to paste that link into the chat for this Zoom meeting. And there you go. everybody should now be able to follow along with the rest by going to that link in the Zoom meeting. But that's using your computer where you're on this Zoom meeting. What if you wanted to use your phone to follow along? Well, I can make a QR code. There's lots of ways to make a QR code. I'm going to do it the easiest way and go to a incognito window, paste that link that I just copied. Now, when I click up on the title bar, I have the option to make a QR code. And I'll leave that on the screen while I go to the phones now. So here is my phone on the right. And I just want to show you that I can see that same album. The album is in my library because I own it. There is the Tech for Senior samples. There's one picture on it. Now, this is Jim's phone. How is he going to get the link to that album? He just scans the QR code. So I will do that with his phone.
Find the camera.
Find the camera. Everybody's phone is so different. So I'm just scanning the code from the computer screen. And now his phone is seeing the Tech for Senior samples. Now you don't have to use Google Photos for this to work. You do have to have a Google account. So if you've never used Google Photos and you log in here, it will say join. And now oh, look at that. So see some other people, Bob, Huey have already added photos.
Just by scanning the QR code.
Well, they clicked the link, and did it on the computer. I scan the QR code. This is Jim's phone, and I just tap add photos. And he also took a photo at the beginning of the meeting, and I just select that photo and tap add. And every time a new photo was added, notice I get a notification and it's just buzzing away here. So is that cool or what? We were on this trip, and during the day, people went in different directions. We didn't all do the same thing. So we didn't go to the ℍ𝕖𝕨𝕚 crater, but because Bonnie did, we saw photos of it and we saw it right away. Okay. And so that's creating a group album. There's nothing special about it. You just create an album and then share it. You can share it with a link. You can share it with a QR code of that link. And once people have the link, they can add their own photos. Once they've started adding their own photos and they go back to Google Photos, they find the album under the sharing button. Okay. And if you use iCloud and don't use Google Photos, I wrote an article. You can add photos to this album as well. There's a couple extra steps. If you go to geeksontour.com/adding-iCloud, you can read all about it. As the owner, I can turn off collaboration. I mean, if this link got out to the world, somebody might add some photos that aren't right. What I would do is go into the options of this album, and I can, oh, I'm in the wrong screen here. I go to the options of the album, the Tech for Seniors that I just made, and options, and it's this one right here that allows people to add photos to it, collaborate. If I turn that off, nobody can add any photos anymore. But I can turn it back on. I will later. Have any time that you have a group get together and there's things to take pictures of, try using a group photo album. You'll like it. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. That's such a lot. That is so cool. I am, even we talked about weddings last week, and even if you had a wedding, you can have QR codes and have everybody enter their pictures in. It's great, and I enjoy following your travels as well as you go on. It's really interesting. So I'm sure there'll be lots of questions, and we'll be dealing with those in the Q&A. Just before we move on to Ray, I'm going to just say goodbye to our YouTube watchers. Please remember, if you have to leave, that we do have our show on Thursday. Come in, watch our show. It should be a lot of fun. And don't forget the premiere video on password managers. So we'll stop that now, and Ray, take it away.
All right, ready to go. AI and the holographic concert experience. Is this really going to be the wave of the future? Let me tell you about it. Thanks to today's technology, you can expect to see Elvis Presley in concert in 2024. How was that possible? Well, from the web article titled "Artificial Intelligence Recreates Elvis for Immersive Holographic Concert Experience," I have paraphrased below what the founder of Layered Reality, Andrew McGinnis, is saying about the upcoming Elvis evolution. What technology allows us to do is to create an authentic AI Elvis by effectively harvesting thousands and thousands of photos, as well as hours and hours of home video footage. What the computer at its simplest does is synthesize all that information to learn about Elvis, everything about his movements, about his facial structure, about all these idioms, and then effectively allows us to create a really authentic Elvis. It's similar to how an actor would study Elvis to play him on screen, but with AI, it goes faster. The show will be interactive and immersive. The audience will be walking through rooms to learn more about the King of Rock before finally seeing the main attraction, the hologram. You won't be conscious of it being a hologram. You will feel like you are seeing the man perform, said McGinnis. The show is expected to launch in London this summer. Then they are planning to debut it in Las Vegas before touring throughout the US. Ticket prices are expected to be between $100 and $200. Now, as an example of a hologram performance, I'll be featuring today the late, great Jackie Wilson. Thank you, my friend Sam Hill, for bringing this clip to my attention. What I like most about this technology is now the younger audience that was not even born at the time of Jackie Wilson's death in 1984 can see him perform and appreciate his contributions to the birth of rock and roll. I like that better than an old grainy YouTube video.
That's
Yes,
incredible.
absolutely.
That's
Fantastic.
amazing, Ray. Well
That
done.
is truly amazing.
Amazing.
We
So
live in a good time for technology.
is that the future for us? Are we going to be able to recreate it and we can keep going?
Only Ron, if you can sing like Jackie Wilson.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
right.
you can have pictures of me forever now.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, listen, I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's as usual, we had an incredible show today, and it's a lot of good times. And it's you coming and watching the show and being here for us and supporting us that keeps us going. And we're gonna have an absolute great season. This following season 5, we're gonna have a great time. So stay tuned. We'll be moving into our Q&A section now, and I know there'll be lots of questions, but before we do that, I just want to remind everybody, of course, about our Thursday show. Please watch that and come and visit us. We have a lot of fun on our Thursday show. And also don't forget about our premiere video that we have already released, and it's on password managers. Darn good one that we did a year ago, and it's available and it's playing right now. Murray, let's see what you have to say.
Okay, I just wanted to mention that, talking about AI and music, when I was at Carnegie Tech, which is now Carnegie Mellon University, back in the early 1960s, there was of course, I did a lot of work on the computer, and there was a lot of our coursework involved AI. But one of the interesting students that would be working at midnight trying to get time on the computer was a music student. He had a little quartet, and he'd written a program to try to recreate this music, the style of Bach. And he would create these scores for his orchestra, and then he and his orchestra would go out and play it, and if they liked it, they'd keep it, and if they didn't, they'd throw it away. But that's kind of a precursor to, it wasn't creating Bach in person, but it was creating his music, his style of music. Anyway, I thought I would share that for those who are interested in the olden days of AI.
Thanks, Murray. Huey.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Ron, on the snowblower. Does the place that the chute that throws the snow, is it, you can change it from side to side? It looked like it.
Yeah. There's a handle. There's a throttle. It's like a throttle handle on there, and you turn that, and you can turn the chute 360 away, because you got to change where you're going to blow it, right?
Yeah, you certainly don't want to get it against your car.
Well, exactly. Well, it was my first time using it. It took a little figuring out how I'm going to blow this stuff around. Yeah. And of course, it was hard packed snow as well, so it didn't blow that easy. So, but that's it. That was my only time I got to use it this year.
And a question for Drew on the Rclone. If you were showing it first by year and then sometimes by month or sometimes by the day, but if you did it, no matter which one you did it create all of the others? So you automatically created the days when you created a year?
Google actually sorts the photos that way by default. It's not the Rclone program that's creating that organizational structure. It just displays that way in Rclone. So you can choose, if you go in and say by year, obviously it's going to just do the whole year. Or by month, it'll give you a choice of what year you want to do what month.
Okay, but if you save it by the year, you can then go back in and look at by day, and it'll also do it that way. It's already done it, correct?
Yeah, you don't have to do anything to sort them that way. As you take your pictures, they're automatically uploaded into Google that way.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks, Drew. Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, I also have a question on Rclone. It looked to me like it was backing up a folder from the computer, not directly from Google Photos.
Well, the graphic, I didn't have a chance to put the video together in its entirety, where I actually created the Rclone configuration so that you could see me go ahead and do that. Basically, your photos exist in your Google Photos library, and you use the Rclone software to connect to a variety of 50 different cloud providers. Google Photos just happens to be one of them. And when you link the software, you give it permission to access your Google Photos. And then you say that you would like to create a remote. I'd like to name it, Bob Photos. And that's how it creates the link to the Google Photos in the GUI.
All right, thank you.
Let me call you back on the video.
Okay. All right. And then if Carl, looks like Carl's on the phone.
No, I'm off.
You're off? Okay, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to, as an engineer, my endemic is always to try to fix problems even when people don't want them fixed. And the suggestion I have is maybe with your blower is that somebody should come up with an adapter so that you could plug the adapter in the smaller, partition, and then plug the larger battery into the adapter.
Yeah, well, I even thought about taking some sort of saw and cutting out, the hole there in the lawnmower and making it bigger. But I think it's just time for a new lawnmower.
Well, I have a similar problem because I have Ryobi all 18-volt things.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy a new anything because they're working, but I got the saws, the drill, and the blower and all that stuff is all Ryobi 18 volt. I'm stuck too. I just wanted to mention to Ray that I didn't know that Jackie Wilson had a twin brother.
Yeah, right. Oh, I wanted just to tell everybody something interesting. You may or may not know. I always had assumed that Ryobi was a product line of Home Depot, right? And that would be a good assumption to make if you were like me, and I thought that was true. But when I went to Australia and I was visiting my daughter, there's a big, just as big as Home Depot. It's called Bunnings in Australia. And I walked in there to the store and they had all Ryobi equipment. And I thought, really? And in fact, Ryobi's is a massive company, and they sell their products to different large retail organizations, and Home Depot is one in Australia and in Europe. They sell them all over the world. It's big companies. So anyway, that's thought that was interesting. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, so does Roomba sell snow blowers? That way you don't have to go outside to do it yourself.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Steve. And I wish that was so, but unfortunately it doesn't. So now there was a comment, someone said, of course, gas snowblowers are much better. A couple of things about that is they do make Ryobi does make a snowblower. It's the same as that one, but it is self-propelled, but it's another $1,000. So you're going up in value quite a bit. And the other thing, and I would say, yeah, if you lived where Greg does and you get lots of snow and, you're always probably doing snow shoveling, it's probably a gas one is better. But, I don't have any gas equipment and I don't want to deal with gasoline and oil and all that stuff. So that's why I like the electric one. And I'm only probably going to use it once or twice in the year. Maybe Murray will have me down to his place down there and I can use it. What do you think, Murray?
I don't know. I was just going to say about my last snowblower, which was actually I was in Petawawa where I got lots of snow.
Yeah.
And my driveway was 200 feet long. And I bought a lawn tractor, which had a lawnmower for the summer and a snowblower for the winter. But the interesting thing is I bought the thing for $200 or for $500 used. When I moved, the transmission had broken. I didn't know how I was going to get rid of it, but a friend called me and said somebody was looking for lawn tractors, working or not. I phoned the guy, and he gave me $300. So I had a snowblower for 4 years, lawn tractor for 4 years, for a total of $200, which was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, there you go. Well, the other thing I could do is put a blade on the front of my truck. You get a blade, that goes on the truck for $500, and you get
actually my snowblower also had a blade.
Yeah,
it a blade as well as a lawnmower and a snowblower. But the snowblower was the main thing because there was an awful lot of snow and that was an awful long driveway.
Right. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, a quick question for Drew. I asked you about a week ago, Drew, about the software. I think it was DEX that you could look at your cell phone from your computer, and you said it was only for iPhone. Is there one for a Windows?
No, not iPhone, Samsung phones.
Oh, really? Oh, I misunderstood. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. That's hopeful. I may get that new Samsung after all.
I wanted just to show everyone something. I guess Mike Ungerman here? Mike, are you here? Maybe he's not here today, but I just wanted to, what did I do here? Darn it. Oh yeah, Chris, if you got your album open, can you just show that picture of Mike's new car?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I was looking for it. So the reason that I wanted to mention this is that in the upcoming year, this is of course Mike's new car that he just bought this last week, and it's a Niro, is it Kia Niro, and so and he'll tell you all about this. I'm trying to talk him into doing a video about this, but the interesting part about that was, first of all, they had lots in stock, number one, and number two, as of January 1st this year, there was a massive incentive that Hyundai or Kia, I can't remember which one that makes it, was giving out. So he got that, and I think it was $5,000 to $7,000 rebate, not just from the government, but this was an incentive from the company. So we're seeing now with supply increasing now, we're seeing like big incentives, and the supplies are there. Now, why I'm mentioning this is that as we move ahead this year, many people will probably, if you are interested in looking at an electric car, if you do purchase one and you want to talk about it, please let me know, and we'll run a little 10-minute thing on it, and you can talk about your car. You don't have to do a video, or you don't have to make it complicated, but maybe you have a very interesting new car that's out. And why not share that experience with it? Because people are going to be asking questions about this year as we go through. So just let me know if you do get something and you want to do a little talk. I'll help you with it, and we can and we'll do that. And I think people would be really interested in that.
Ron, remember that one of the reasons why companies offer big incentives is because nobody's buying the product.
Well, that is true with the big three, like General Motors and Ford, and that is a big problem. But that actually isn't the case. In fact, a report I just read, I think I told you about it, is that there's about 1 million people last year bought electric cars in the United States, and actually it's slowed down a little bit, and that's true because the big three built the wrong cars, and that's going to be a big problem. But there are actually a lot of other companies selling very successfully, like Hyundai and Kia, electric cars, and the demand is actually very high. So we'll see what happens this year. It'll slow down a little bit, but people will be interested in it. So just let me know if you want to. If you want to do something about your car, let me know, and we'll put it on the show. Any questions? Any other questions? We must have some more questions here. We had such a great show today.
I did.
Chris, did you?
There were a couple posted in the chat about the photo albums, and one was, is there a way to lock it down, to say this person can add photos to this album and nobody else can? No, because anybody who has joined the album then has the ability to share that link with anybody else. So there really is no way to lock it down other than, for example, we put out our photo albums to the world, and I do not make it shareable by anybody except him. The way I do that is I keep collaboration off. And then whenever he wants to add a photo, I turn collaboration on, let him add photos, and then turn it off again. So that's the only way to lock it down.
But the important thing, Chris, is that you mentioned is that if you really want to keep that picture, just save it to your own album or save it to your own photo stream, and then you've got it, right? And you can edit it and you can move it whatever. You can put it in whatever album that you want in your own photo group, right?
Yeah, any photos contributed by somebody else, you can save a copy to your photos. Yes.
Right. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to get to Huey to give a plug for his AI presentation coming up, I think.
Oh, good one, yeah.
This week.
It is. It's called Let's Talk AI. It's for everyone who either wants to learn about AI, who is playing around with it, or who has done some things with AI. It's a very broad subject. For all of those who've already signed up, I sent out a link to a 1-hour video that talks about prompts and gives you some really good hints on how to do prompts. And normally it's going to be the 4th Friday of the month. This month, because of the cybersecurity summit that I'm going to, I'm doing it on Thursday, so it'll be right after the Tech for Senior live show. That'll be at 1 o'clock Eastern time. And just give me a minute or two to get there from one show to the other. But you do have to sign up with me, and then I will send out the link probably tomorrow. I'll just send it to Huey, H-E-W-I-E, at ℏ𝕠𝕟.net. Say you want to be a part of the AI group, Let's Talk AI, and I will add you to the list and send you out the link when I send it out tomorrow.
Chris and Jim, go ahead.
I just want to give just one more plug for group photo albums. Somebody last week mentioned that they went to a wedding and that there was a card on everybody's table with a QR code saying scan this and you can add photos to the. When we were married, I remember we bought those little throwaway cameras and put on everybody's table. And then we gathered them all up and paid for the processing at the end of the wedding. So that's how you got all your pictures. Now it's just so easy. And for traveling with a group, this shared photo album from Hawaii is just phenomenal. And everybody puts their best pictures in, not all their pictures, but their best pictures. So it's a really good photo album.
When we had to pay for developing, we were very selective with what photos we took. Now, of course, with AI and with the ability to take digital photos, there is no such thing anymore as holding back because you have to pay for processing. Now the question is, after you take the picture, do you want it or do you just toss it?
Yeah, I still teach holding back in putting it into an album. Whether
Correct.
you then do the work to delete the others or not, that's up to you, but hold back for putting the best ones in the album.
So Chris, are you getting an S24?
No, at least not yet. I mean, my last purchase was an iPhone 14 Pro. I need to wait another year.
Okay. All right.
I'll get an S25. How's that?
Well, of course, now we're all excited about Ray and what is Ray going to do, but he's not going to tell us. And so it's going to be a big secret. So maybe we'll get a contest going and we'll have we'll all vote on which phone we think you're going to get.
But you remember, Ron, I have the Samsung Flip 3.
Right.
And I've always said that I'm not going to ever replace that phone, but now I have.
And I bet you're going to get another Flip one because you really like the Flip. So, but I'm not going to, but anyway,
Not going to tell anything yet.
You're not going to tell anything yet. Okay. All right. Well, listen, everyone, thank you so much for coming. It's been a good show, I think. And we will see you maybe this Thursday for our Thursday show. I'll have a special guest with me. Byron Nate, a good friend of mine, is coming up to visit. We're going to party and he's going to help me. So we'll have yet an extra person on the show on Thursday, which should be lots of fun. He's going to learn how you sit in the studio here with me and do the show. So that should be lots of fun. And we're going to have lots of fun. Life is fun, right? Right. So we will see everybody in another few days. All right. Have a great day. And thanks for coming and thanks for everyone.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.